What is up, everybody? BK Voiceover here, and May 12th, we are finally arriving at the 2022 Seahawks schedule reveal. So, of course, before today, there were a couple of games like we already knew about. Like, we knew for a fact that Seattle was going to be playing in Germany against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, first ever Germany game. Which is fantastic. We knew that was going to be week 10, but now the full NFL schedule has been released. The Seahawks schedule, along with our preseason schedule. So, yeah, lots to dive into. I mean, even if it's supposedly like a down year for Seattle, it's still fun to see, like, kind of where games look. And just taking a look at the schedule to start with. First half of our schedule is it's kind of a gauntlet. But we'll get to that. So we'll kind of start with preseason. Preseason, again, doesn't really matter, but it will be especially interesting this time around because Seahawks are in a rebuild. So it'll be good to see the young guys play, see the rookies play, and see what we have from our young guys for sure. So first off, we got first week of preseason, Saturday, August 13th. We play at the Pittsburgh Steelers. Week 2, we go back home to play the Bears, and then week 3, we go back home to play, week 3, we go and play the Dallas Cowboys in Dallas. So, 3 pretty solid games. Usually we play the AFC West, but since we are playing the AFC West during the regular season, makes sense to not be playing them in the preseason. Now let's get on to the actual schedule that matters, and that is the regular season schedule. And holy moly, we have a really big game. Week 1, Russell Wilson returns to Lumen Field once again. And boy, it is not going to be sporting a Seahawks jersey. This is going to be an amazing game. It's a Monday night game. You know that everybody's going to be fired up. Seahawks roster is going to be fired up. Broncos are going to be fired up. The fans are going to be riled up. It's definitely going to be an interesting game to watch for sure. As far as prediction, I don't think we're going to win, but it would be hilarious if we did. Yep, so moving on. Week 2, we travel down to the Bay to play the 49ers. 49ers are a good team, definitely a better roster than us. They're still a little suspect at QB. I mean, we don't know what's going to happen with Garoppolo, and Trey Lance is supposedly very disappointing, so who knows. Either way, I have us starting out 0-2. Then week 3, we come home and play the Falcons at Lumen Field. I have this one chalked up as a win. Atlanta Falcons, like on paper, have one of the worst rosters in the NFL, and their QB is Marcus Mariota, and there's no way Desmond Ridder starts week 1. And if we're playing Marcus Mariota, I think this will be your first win of the season. Then we go to play the Lions in Detroit. This could definitely be a very interesting game. They're going in the right direction in a lot of ways. All they really need is a quarterback. I don't know, maybe they're doing the same thing as us and waiting for a QB in next year's draft. But they're kind of like the Seahawks a lot this season. They are really good. They're pretty solid on defense. They have a good offensive line. Their only question is they're kind of suspect at QB. So I have this one penciled in as a win. So we start the season 2-2. Then we go to play the Saints. Then we go to play the Saints in New Orleans. I have this one chalked up as a loss. The Superdome is by far and away one of the hardest places to play. Their roster from top to bottom, except for, again, maybe quarterback, is really solid. Although the roster is pretty much exactly the same from last year, except maybe they get Michael Thomas back, and we came within 3 points of beating them. So I think it's a winnable game. But again, that was in Seattle. This is in New Orleans. I have this one as a loss. So 2-3 to start the season. Then we play the Cardinals at home, and if you know the Seahawks, when it comes to the Cardinals at home, we always tend to get trounced at home by the Cardinals. So I have this one as a loss, 2-4. Then we go to play the Chargers in LA. I have this one as a loss as well. Chargers are really good. I have them as being the best overall team in the AFC West, and one of my favorites to go to the Super Bowl. So this is going to be a loss almost certainly. So 2-5. Then we go home to play the Giants. I think the Giants are still very suspect. I think this could be a good at-home win for us. So I am going to say this is going to be a win. So 3-5. Then we go to play the Cardinals in Arizona. Seattle almost always wins when they play Arizona down in the desert. Usually it's at the cost of a major injury or something like that. I mean, so many good Seahawks suffer terrible injuries, sometimes even career-ending injuries. Last year you had Quandre Diggs, you had Sherman, you had Bam Bam, you had Will Dissly. Just so many good Seahawks just like getting destroyed by that horrible field. So go to Germany. I'm going to try and go to this game if I can. Hopefully it ends up working out. And I actually have this one, even though Tampa Bay is considered the home team, I can assure you that this is going to feel like a home game for Seattle. And I think this is going to be I think there's always one major upset that each team has, and I think this is going to be that upset. I'm calling for Seattle to totally upset the Buccaneers in Germany. So yeah, going back through, that's we got loss, win, loss, win, win. So that's 5-5. So going into the bye week at 5-5, it's actually really good. Unfortunately, I don't see it getting much better. We come out of the bye, and actually, the first part of the schedule, it's 6 away games. 6 of our first 10 games are away games, which is a lot. That's kind of why I was saying this first part of the season is going to be a bit of a gauntlet. And then after that, it gets a lot better because 5 of our last 7 games in the season are home games. So we come off the bye week, we play the Raiders at home. I still have this one as a loss. I think the Raiders are massively improved from last season, and they got Devontae Adams. So I think this is going to be a loss. Then we go down to LA again. We already went down to LA to play the Chargers. This time we go back to play the Rams. I have this one as a loss as well, so that's 5-7. I have us traveling back home to Seattle to play the Panthers. I have this one as a win, so 6-7. Then we play the 49ers. At home, I have this one as a win as well, so that's 7-7. And you're like, oh my God, you have the Seahawks winning way more games than they should. And like, you also have to realize Seattle, since Pete Carroll, the start of Pete Carroll's tenure, even before Russ got here, he has never lost. At least in his tenure in Seattle, he's never lost more than 7 games in a season. And that was running out Matt Hasselbeck and Tarvaris Jackson. Rest in peace to Tarvaris, man. And then, yeah, to finish out the season, it's also kind of brutal. We travel to play the Chiefs in Kansas City. I have this one chalked up as a loss, so 7-8. Then I have us coming home to play the Jets. I think the Jets are one of the most massively improved teams this offseason. I think that they come into Lumen Field and they just trounce us. So 7-9, and then Los Angeles Rams come to play in Week 18. I have this one as a loss. So final prediction of the season, I have us going 7-10 during the regular season, kind of finishing in a similar place as we did last year. So obviously there's plenty of opportunity to finish worse than that, but yeah, that's just kind of how I see the roster as it stands right now and the schedule as it stands right now. So yeah, that's just a quick rundown of our schedule. Let me know what you guys think. What games are you guys going to try and go to this season? Which ones do you think are going to be upsets? Which wins do you agree with? Which losses do you agree with? Let me know down in the comments. And as always, thank you for watching, and go Hawks.